Good morning, this is Sky Sports Fan Club. We're taking on football's biggest issues and taking you with us. Charlie Austin is still with us and we've got a lot to get through before midday. As Benjamin Sesko admits, it'll take time for him to adapt to the Premier League. Is it time that Ruben Amorim doesn't have? Let's kick off this hour by talking Manchester United. Some interesting quotes from their new £73 million striker Benjamin Sesko, who admits it's going to take him time to adapt to the Premier League. Sesko is yet to start a league game for Manchester United, though he did take and score a penalty in the shootout defeat to Grimsby, but he was the final outfield player to do so. In an interview with Slovenian publication Ekipa, which I'm pretty sure means team or crew, Sesko said the level of the matches is certainly much higher. The players and teammates are also at a higher level. After all, English football is at the highest level in the world of football. But I am very much looking forward to the coming period, also because I'm getting better and faster in every training session, and I am also progressing in my football mentality every day. Right, Charlie Austin, he says that he needs time. Can Ruben Amorim afford to give him time for his own sake?
I don't think he can afford to give him time, but he obviously is. He's obviously got the player's best interests at the moment, but is it in his? That's the issue. What I took away from his statement, what he was saying there, was that we know the level is top, the best in the world. Can he get there is the question. They've paid £74 million for him, but can Benjamin Sesko get to the level that's required to continuously play in the Premier League and arguably play for the biggest club in the world?
I can kind of see his side of things. He's moving from a different country to a different league. He is still very young, so can you understand why he would feel like he needs time, as in the player?
Yeah, I mean, I can understand from his point of view that he needs time, and when he goes across that white line, he wants to be ready to go and feel like he's full of confidence and he's to that level, because obviously he's saying that he's improving, getting faster every time he trains, so maybe in his mind he's thinking he's not there yet. And if he's going across the pitch with not the confidence, centre forwards need confidence, he's not having the confidence that he's at the level to perform the same as his teammates, then that's going to play a key factor in it. How
surprised are you that he's not starting? Because Ekitike is new to the league and new to the country, is starting. Gyökeres, new to the league, not new to the country. OK, João Pedro knows the Premier League, but those three strikers are all starting for big clubs like Manchester United.
Yeah, they are. And that comes down to the players that they're bringing in and the players they've brought in. Liverpool have signed Ekitike, already know he's ready to go. Same with Arsenal with Gyökeres. Manchester United would have known with Sesko where he'd have been at, and if they didn't, then that just sums Man United up where they are at the moment. I think the long and short of it is, because the results Manchester United have been getting, yes, they've won a game and got a point, they're on 4 points, it's all the eyes are always going to be on Manchester United, and you can't get away from the fact that it's £74 million. And they can't afford really for this one to not work out, because you look at Rasmus Højlund, they pay the money, didn't work out, he's gone. Joshua Zirkzee there, not as much money, but a lot of money, and that's not really worked out either. So for now, they've really put all their ducks in that basket to get him in that position where Benjamin Sesko is the main man at Manchester United.
Well, Sky Sports have partnered with Finalysis, an app where passionate fans share their opinions on their club. Now, if you want to represent your club, good news. You just need to scan that QR code here. Visit the Sky Sports app as well for more details. And we can speak to a Manchester United fan now, James MacDonald. Right, James, you'll have been hearing what we've just been saying there. But specifically on Sesko, do those quotes worry you that he thinks he's going to need time?
I don't think the quotes worry me. I think it's actually quite natural. He's a young lad. He does need time to develop. I think what worries me is more that was the choice of signing a young, inexperienced striker. I think it's totally natural for a 22-year-old coming into this league to turn around and say, I definitely need to get up to speed.
And in terms of who signed him, the fact that he's come in and he's not playing usually does suggest, sorry, I shouldn't say that, sometimes suggests that he wasn't the manager's choice. Sometimes someone comes in from above the manager and the manager says, well, I didn't want him, so I'm sticking him on the bench. Is there any chance that that's the case here?
I don't necessarily think that's the case. I think what happened is we tried to get other strikers. There was somewhere we sniffed around Gyökeres, Delap and stuff, and that didn't happen. We needed a number 9. So just because you don't get your prime target doesn't mean you just stand still. I think we did have to go for him. I think the reason he's probably not starting is he came in very late into the window and didn't really have a full pre-season. You look at Gyökeres and Ekitike and they had a bit more pre-season. But I would like to see him featured a little bit more, if I'm being honest.
Well, Charlie has strong opinions on him being the 10th penalty taker against Grimsby, even though he is your £73 million striker. Does that show that he's not backing himself yet and hasn't got that confidence? Is that in his mind rather than in his ability?
Yeah, I'll be honest, when I was watching the penalties, I was a bit concerned about that. I would have liked to have seen him kind of step up, take the game by a scruff of the neck and actually get stuck in on the penalties early on, be one of our first takers. I don't know if that was a play by Amorim or if that was from Sesko. I could understand it from Amorim saying, listen, I want to take a bit of pressure off you. We'll get through the penalty shootout and you might not need to take a kick and no headlines will be written about you. If it came from him, that is a bit of a worry. The price tag, you've got to say, you've got to back yourself if you're a striker. That is one of the most important things as a striker, to back yourself and be confident. And if he's saying, I can't net a penalty against Grimsby, there are a few alarm bells there.
But James, you're going about him, the manager protect him and not creating the headlines. He's going to create the headlines. He took the 10th penalty. You've just paid 74 million pounds for a centre forward. Like, you want him to, as a striker, speaking for the striker, you want that confidence. You want to put the ball in the back of the net as quickly as possible. And the opportunity come in the game, it didn't happen. So go and do it in the penalty shootout. And
we wouldn't be talking about it if he was in the top 5, not 10th.
Let's be honest.
So he's not protecting him.
But also, let's be honest, the way he took the penalty, he didn't look shy of confidence, did he? Let's be honest.
No, not at all. I think part of the problem is we probably weren't expecting to get to 11 penalties or 15 penalties, how many it was. Yeah, like you said, I think I would have liked to have seen him be one of the 3. Get that little bit of confidence and just put the ball in the back of the net, get that monkey off his back, and then kind of roll that into the next couple of games for United.
What are your thoughts on Ruben Amorim so far? He's been in for a while. Yes, I know he wanted to wait until the summer, but that wasn't the case. What have you made of it so far?
And also, adding to that, Joe, do you think he's got unfair criticism? Do you think like the people saying stuff about him and do you think that's wrong, or do you think it's warranted?
Well, I'm a bit split on this because I think there's a couple of signs this year in the press conferences or when he's when he's at the sidelines with his head in his hands, not looking at penalties. You're a bit like, come on, mate, we need a bit more leadership there. However, I feel like as a United fan watching us play week in, week out, the difference from last season is chalk and cheese. We're creating chances now. The only problem is we're not putting them away. So that's probably where we need Sesko to step up. But I think the system is kind of showing signs. We're not there yet. We still need more players. We need a couple more windows, I'd imagine, to get the right players
under
in.
This manager, James, a couple more windows under this manager.
I would say so. Yeah, I think signings so far have been okay. To be fair, the been in the right direction. I think the main priority for United in the summer was to offload a lot of players before we could start building people in. And I think the signs he's doing, building a front three, getting a new keeper in is fine. For me, that's phase 1. We now need to look at midfield. But can you do everything all in one transfer window? I don't think there's a manager in the world who can.
You were seconds away from only drawing at home to Burnley, though. So are you feeling a lot better because of that late goal, controversial goal as well? Or would you be a lot more kind of angry and a lot more anti your manager had you not scored that goal?
Yeah, I think I was there at the match, and I'll be honest, I think I'm not anti-Amorim, I'm anti why aren't we scoring goals, because we're making chances left, right and centre. Against Burnley, we had about 4 chances that were about 5 yards out, and you can't put that at the manager's feet saying it's his fault. We need to be finishing these chances we're making. I think if we had finished a draw, I think it would have been a long weekend for Amorim. I think there would have been a lot of questions, and we'd all be talking about him saying, is he the right man? Luckily, it's kind of quieting the outside noise, but that's only going to happen for so long with Man United.
And then the thing on that, James, at the weekend, I watched the game, and Manchester United could have been 4 up at half time, and no one would have been able to say anything, right? They should have.
Yeah.
But the worrying bit is they haven't got nobody to put the ball in the back of the net, because it's a number of people missing the chances. So who's going to grab it now and be like, I'm the goal scorer? They've signed, like you say, we have to go back to the price tag of Sesko. Manchester United would have done all the background checks, whether it was the prime target of signing him, number 2, number 3, or number 4, right? They would have done all the background checks. Where you see it now is Matheus Cunha unfortunately got injured. Well, he was a goal scorer also at Wolves. Same with Brian and Bremo, yeah? But now they need someone to really go after it, because as you look at it, when's Man United going to have a 20-goal centre-forward? Last one, Ronaldo.
Yeah, exactly. I'm absolutely with you. And I think, given the Cunha injury, Mount as well has been playing well, and that's kind of...
He's not going to score your goals, James. Mason Mount's not going to score a bundle of goals.
What I'm saying is that system was working, we weren't finishing, but now them two are kind of injured. I'd like to see Sesko get a bit of a run and actually start hopefully converting some of these chances that we're making, because some of them, like, they've been criminal that we've not been finishing. Sorry, guys, lights got off in the room.
Yeah, that's it. Don't worry. We can still see you, James. Don't worry. I'm just looking at your fixtures. I've just been typing them in there. We know it's the Manchester derby away from home next, all right? I've got a feeling that might dominate this time next week, actually. Then it's Chelsea, albeit at home. Brentford away. You don't know what you're going to get from Brentford at the moment. Sunderland at home, you'll be confident about that one. And then it's Liverpool away. I mean, that's... In those 5 games... How much pressure is he under to deliver? Because Man City, Chelsea and Liverpool in the next 5 games, and 2 of those are away.
Oh yeah, it's a terrible run of fixtures, I've got to admit, but you're going to play them at some point, so you've got to. I think the only saving grace is, I think last couple of years, the teams in the top 6 are the ones we've actually stepped up for and actually put a bit of an effort in.
And that's sorry, James, that's what I was going to say. Like, against MT, even Liverpool like stepped up, and that's not the problem, and that's not the problem. But the games that you expecting Manchester United to win and dominate, they haven't. And I feel like that was a prime example again against Burnley. You expect the game that's at Old Trafford, regardless of the pressure everybody's under, for them to dominate. And albeit last minute penalty papers over the cracks. They paper over the cracks, we go into the international break and everyone talks about got 4 points. No one's talking about Manchester City having 3 points, etc., etc.
Yeah, totally. And I think the thing is with that, with City, you just know Haaland's going to score goals at some point. Like, the thing is, there's question marks over our strike force. Like I said, we're making the chances, but this is where we need to start stepping up and scoring goals. And I do think we'll probably maybe get a couple of surprises in them tough run of fixtures. I'm not saying we'll win every game, but I think there'll be a couple where we'll elevate our game and do that. But it's like you said, it's the problem with like the Brentford matches and the West Ham matches that are really going to cause us problems, where we really need to be starting putting stuff away.
What is your best team, James?
Undecided at the moment, but I think the centre mids at the moment, I don't think we've got a partnership that works at the moment. I think Bruno and Casemiro is probably the strongest, but I think Casemiro's not got the legs for a full 90 minutes. So, and Ugati's a bit erratic, and Mainoo's only young. So that is definitely phase 2. So I couldn't tell you what our strongest team is at the moment.
Yeah, but could Amorim tell you what his strongest team is, and where does Bruno Fernandes fit into that regardless?
I'm not sure we could at the moment, unless we've started with against Arsenal is our strongest team with Mount there, Cunha and Mbemo. I think that could be potentially what Amorim thinks is the strongest team in terms of leading the line. I don't know where. I think Bruno Fernandes is one of them. We've not really got a great partnership with centre mid, so it's better to have him in there than put someone like Ugati in who's a bit erratic.
But he's not a player that you just put in to fill the space. Bruno Fernandes, he's been Manchester United's talisman for the last few years, right? He's not the person who just, we've got no one to go in there, so do you know what, we'll just put Bruno in there. Restrict him. I watched him against Arsenal at the first game of the season, and I just thought he was too deep, ineffective, getting the ball off the back four. That's not Bruno Fernandes. He needs to be at the top end of the pitch, creating, and it shows it still now as he's creating, but I just feel like it takes that whole another dimension away from Manchester United.
Yeah, I think, to be fair, he should be challenging for one of the number 10 spots, if not starting.
Sorry, how can he challenge for number 10? How can your captain and 100 million?
No, what I was about to say was he should be challenging for that, because we should have centre mids who we can rely on. At the moment, we don't have that, and it's a little bit like we're putting square pegs in round holes.
Would you have sold him, James? Would you have sold him?
I don't think so. I think I understand the question marks over his age and how much money it would have brought in and what we could have done with that money. The thing I would say is I would have stuck with him, because I think you need players like that in your squad. And secondly, would we have invested that money into the right players? Would it even have gone into the players?
What's a successful season for Manchester United now, mate?
Yeah, well, a successful season for me is obviously upper end of the top half. I think obviously we're not getting in the top four. We'll be lucky to get fifth or sixth. But I think as long as we're aiming and then we can have serious conversations about us going for European spaces, then that's a successful season. But for me, it's not about Europe. It's about getting up the table. So eventually, in a few seasons' time, we can compete for titles again.
Does a manager take you there? Like you said, if you're saying in a few seasons' time, I know, but it's a hot topic. If you're saying...
it's totally a hot topic, and I totally agree why you're asking for it. But I just remember a few years ago, we were saying the same thing about Arteta, like saying, would he be able to make them challenge? And he has done. And I've seen more about Amorim than we do with Arteta. Yeah. I think Arteta's just had time to build and get the players out, get the right players in, and do things his way. And I think if you give Amorim that kind of chance and that opportunity, we'll see where it goes, but I think chopping and changing is getting us nowhere, so I'm quite confident with him.
But our Arsenal fans that we've had on in the last few days have been pointing out that yes, Arteta got time and they were happy to see that, but he still hasn't won the Premier League.
And that's what I was just saying then, is that I think if you give him the same opportunity, I see more about him in his managerial status to kind of maybe push on a little bit further than Arteta. But I think at the moment, we shouldn't even be discussing talking leagues.
What makes you think Amorim's better than Arteta at this stage?
I just really like I do like Arteta as a manager for starters, so don't get me wrong there. But I just think Amorim's coming to a new league. I think he's settled in the right players. We're playing I do like the system when it's working, and I think it just needs to click a little bit, and we'll see it fly.
We ain't seen it work a lot, mate. We ain't seen it work a lot, James.
No, but that's it. Once it clicks, I think there's been a lot of not quite there yet. It's not quite landing, but you can see signs of it, and there's really positive passages of plays, really positive ways we're going forward with the ball. I think I know it's not, you can't really do it, but if you scrub out last season and just look at this season, the way we've been playing is completely different. And I think hopefully that just needs to click, and then we can kind of progress. I
can just read a message on the bottom of the screen from someone called EJ. Amorim isn't the right man to take United forward. The system isn't a United system. Now, I'm not a Manchester United fan. What is a Manchester United system, James?
I think it's a bit of free-flowing attacking football is what traditionally United's known for. Right, I think one thing shortcoming for Amorim at the moment is I'd like to see him, if things aren't going the right way, is change the system up a little bit as and where it's needed. I think when we do 4-3-3 or what have you, we need to switch up a little bit more. But the system, it's not so much system, it's the way we play and how we should be playing.
Yeah, of course, Ruben Amorim has had success elsewhere as well. Okay, James, thank you.
Cheers for having me, guys. Thank you.